Turn my camera off. Where was I at? Alright, my apologies. I accidentally turned my camera off. But I left off on Tinashe, her expensive taste and how the trendsetter can have an expensive taste, and that they can just be hard to please. Aquarius just can be kind of like oppositional for no reason too. So that's another reason why they can be hard to please. But a lot of times it is just because they have high ass standards. I mentioned them being artistically talented. I also noticed with Aquarians who are singers, a lot of times they have very, very beautiful voices, but their voices are very soft and breathy, but very powerful at the same time. So just think of like Seal, Aquarius sun sign, Brandy, Aquarius sun sign. I personally know an Aquarius sun sign who has like an amazing voice as well. But yeah, they can be amazing singers. They can be amazing just music creators, like composers. If you go back and listen to some Project Pat songs, some 3 6 Mafia songs, and 3 6 Mafia is like other signs too, but like just like the rhythm and just like the chorus, got this, this bounce to it, and it's fucked up shit. They probably rapping about murdering people because that's that more brutal side of Aquarius, and Aquarius can be brutal as fuck. Like I said, it's the most intense part of winter. Winter is brutal. Before the modern age, a lot of people would die in the winter. Still, people die in the winter. There was a winter a couple years ago in Toledo where there were people who, no, yeah, there were people who died, but if I remember correctly, they said if you leave out the house without the proper covering on within 5 minutes, like you would have like frostbite and everything else. Like it was that intense. So winter still to this day can be brutal as hell depending on where you are. They can be hypersensitive, this type. And a lot of times they'll have like, think of Paris Hilton, how she's like kind of cold and then like a distant, kind of detached, kind of removed kind of way, similar to how like Scorpios can be, where they're sitting right in front of you, but they just feel like they're far away. But behind it, with this type of Aquarius, is a lot of sensitivity, and a lot of times Aquarius deals with bullying. Aquarius can be bullies, and they can be bullied. And a lot of times, that type of Aquarius who has been bullied, they will have that kind of distant kind of thing. Or they'll just become bullies and they'll think bullying is the way to be. Like the Aquarius did I date one Aquarius? Yeah, I only dated one Aquarius. Like for real, I only dated one Aquarius. He was like that, and I remember him saying cause he would talk about like bigger people, cause he was chubby when he was a kid, and the way he would talk about bigger people, I'd be like, the fuck, like that don't sit right with me. But he was saying, oh, I got bullied when I was little. I was chubby, and I'm happy I got bullied because it taught me. I mean, bullying can teach you things, but he was saying like it's a good thing, and like I should do this to other people because it will help them improve themselves. And Aquarius can kind of see this type of Aquarius, and there's another type of Aquarius I'm going to get into, where they can see just like life as like the way to get the most out of life is that you have to be a bitch. Like that's Aquarius hardcore. And there's some truth in it. And like I said, I have a lot of Aquarius energy, and I have approached life in that matter. And I did get some good results. I also got some bad results too, which is why I stopped. And I got a message from, Spirit. It was like, you need to stop being like this because this is going to be the end result. But I understand what a lot of Aquarians are coming from when they say that, no, I gotta be a bitch, I gotta be an asshole to get the fuck I want, I gotta be an asshole to get respect, etc., etc., etc. Especially in this capitalist country, we reward that. And we say that's the way to be. So, there's some truth to it. Back to the bullying thing and this type, and back to Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion has a song, I'm trying to think of the name of the song, but it's the album where it's a black album and she's wearing all black. Damn, what's the name of that album? It's one of her earlier albums before she was really, well known. But anyway, there's this verse where she's like, I'm the black Regina George. And Regina George from Mean Girls, who's very Aquarian. But she's a bully. She's the bitch of the group. And they hinted that she's a lesbian. And being LGBT is very like Aquarius. Aquarius has a tendency of not being completely straight. That's like all Aquarius. Like I said, they like that variety. But that's what I mean by Aquarius, like being like connected to bullying and thinking that being a bully is a good thing, or just think being a bitch is a good thing. And like I said, there's some truth to it. Like Aquarius does deal with like hardcore truths that you don't want to accept, but it's reality. So there's some truth in that, but I also think you gotta be careful with that energy, just because you might end up being a person you don't like, and B, that's not always gonna work in your favor. Being a bitch, you're gonna be a bitch to the wrong person who can bless you, and then you just fucked up one of your blessings. Aquarius does deal with your greatest gains in life. So Aquarius can be a sign that's just blessed, and just the universe just blesses them. So don't block your blessings, motherfucker. But along with that hypersensitivity, it can be very snappy. Aquarius, they often say Aquarius has a temper like a thunderbolt. And I agree, because it comes out of nowhere. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to last, where it's going to land. Aquarians themselves, when they get pissed off, they don't know what they're going to do. And it's an intense, and a lot of times it's intimidating for a lot of people. Even if you're not a person who gets intimidated easily, you might not be intimidated, but you're like, damn, whoa, like you like back up. Like, just because, especially if they're the type of Aquarian that's usually chill, you don't expect out of them. And then all of a sudden and a lot of times with the Aquarian, you might think that the anger is not justified. Sometimes it's not justified. But sometimes, like I said, Aquarius has this energy where a lot of times they are right, but they'll spit some shit. They'll speak some shit, and they'll be like, I'm pissed off because of this, and this. That was disrespectful. And at first glance, you'd be like, no, it's not. But when you think about it, you're like, oh shit, that was disrespectful. So that's how their anger works a lot of times. And Aquarius does, in a way, deal with respect, being connected to Saturn. But Aquarius can often be hyper respectful or disrespectful. Is usually one extreme or another. Another thing I noticed with the Trendsetter, especially black women who are of this Trendsetter Aquarian type, a lot of times they'll wear their hair and it will be completely straight and black, and there will be not a flyaway in sight. And this makes me think of that interview with Young Miami and Megan Thee Stallion, both Aquarius sun signs. And pay attention to their hair. Pay attention to how they usually wear their hair. Pay attention to a lot of the black Aquarius women that you know. A lot of times it's black and straight and down their back. A lot of times with Aquarius women of other races, they prefer to wear their hair straight and down too. Another thing is that if they don't wear their hair like that, if they're a black woman, a lot of times they'll have their hair braided. A lot of times they'll braid it themselves. My mom is an Aquarius moon, as I mentioned. And my mom was known, like, it felt like all of the east side of Detroit knew my mom braided her own hair. My mom braided the fuck out of her hair. My mom is an incredible hair braider. Aquarians, if there are hairstylists, baby, they can do some hair. Their own hair, anybody else's hair, just like, yeah. Like, they're going to get you together. As a matter of fact, if the Aquarius works in the beauty industry at all, like skincare, anything, they're going to be incredible at that. Even though the Trendsetter type, they can be difficult to work with, though, just because, one, They expensive taste. They expect so much, and they want so much, and they require so much. Two, Aquarians. Aquarius is an energy that knows that is destined for something big. So if they're working a 9 to 5, they're like, this is not my destiny. I'm supposed to be here. I'm better than this. Like, and they can just slack off. And also because they don't deal well with someone telling them what to do. Aquarius is rebellion. Aquarius is very rebellious. And lastly, some Aquarius are just fucking selfish. And I know that Aquarius is the humanitarian, but for some odd reason, a lot of Aquarians are very fucking selfish, including the Trendsetter type. But that's the Trendsetter type. Let's move on to the Psychopath. So the Psychopath is basically this type of Aquarius kind of appears to be like that Hollywood version of a psychopath. Not psychopaths in reality. Even though Katie Holmes, a lot of people are calling her a psychopath. She's an Aquarius sun sign. I think her father is an Aquarius sun sign too, and they say he's very much like that as well. But one, psychopathy isn't a real diagnosis. It's kind of like a theory. I don't know what to call it, but it's not a real, you can't diagnose someone as a psychopath, or I can't do it, period. But like a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a mental health professional who's allowed to diagnose can't diagnose anyone as a psychopath. They can diagnose you with antisocial personality disorder, which is connected to psychopathy and sociopathy. But once again, they tend to have that Hollywood psychopath kind of thing. So just think of American Psycho, who the character is an Aquarius in real life. And a lot of people who watch that is like, I think he's being himself. And also, but to backtrack a little bit, think about how iconic that movie is and how iconic that character is. That shows you how Aquarius is when it comes to fame. They can just be themselves and people just eat it the fuck up. But anyway, this type is often cold-hearted. A lot of times they have cold eyes too, which a lot of Caucasian Aquarius, you'll notice that their eyes are like a icy blue or electric blue. So it can be cold in that way. Just think of John Travolta, another Aquarius sun sign. I believe he's an Aquarius sun sign. But it can be cold, like in like a psychopathic way. And I do think Katie Holmes has that like psychopathic, crazy look in her eyes. And I'm like, how the fuck did you not know that she was a psychopath? Because sometimes I feel like you can judge a book by its fucking cover. Sometimes I feel like you look like what you are, like, and just I don't know. I'm pretty good at reading people, so I feel like everyone should be good at reading people, but some people don't see things like that. And I'm like, them crazy ass fucking eyes, you ain't know she was fucking crazy. Like, it just like the feeling I get when I'm around those type of Aquarians. I have a uncle of this type, and I don't get scared of people that easily, just because I have a lot of Scorpio energy. When you have a lot of Scorpio energy, when you first look at a person, you know their weaknesses. So like, it's like, even if you are bigger and stronger and badder, motherfucker, I know your weakness, and I'm going straight for that motherfucking weakness. I'm gonna deal with you. So I usually don't scare either, but I was terrified of him. Like, I remember going over my grandma's house because he lived with my grandma, and just the way he looked at me, like he had like this lustful, weird, perverted fucking look. I grabbed the shit out of my mom, and my mom being an Aquarius moon, completely oblivious to that shit. Because sometimes Aquarians can be oblivious to psychopathic shit just because they're so fucking cold themselves that they're like desensitized to it. But I'm like, I remember my whole body getting fucking cold. And I'm like, And I was like 3, 4, so I didn't understand like sexual abuse. I didn't understand rape. I didn't understand a lot of these things. But I knew he wanted to do something to me. I looked at him. I was like, he's gonna use me in some kind of way and put me in a fucking freezer somewhere. And he was like, that was my uncle who he committed his first murder when he was 13. It was this homeless guy warming his hands at the barrel. He just shot him, kill him. He just wanted to see what it felt like to kill someone. Aquarius. Like I said, actually that uncle is either Aquarius or a Capricorn. I want to say Aquarius though. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure he's an Aquarius. And if he doesn't have his sun in Aquarius, have something in Aquarius. And the Capricorn can be like that as well. Just fucking cold and just like I don't give a fuck. Listen to Project Pat. Project Pat often calls himself a psychopath in his fucking music. He has one song talking about what, and it's not funny, it was fucked up, and he's literally talking about walking up to somebody's house and blowing their head off. He has a song talking about just robbing people just for no fucking reason. Like, he also has a song called Break the Law, just about breaking the fucking law. That's Aquarius. That's Aquarius in this psychopathic format. It's just, I don't give a fuck. I have no emotions. Bitch, I will kill your ass just because you looked at me wrong. Some Aquarians can have this side to them when they're pissed off, like you took them there. But some Aquarians, that's just how they fucking are. But let me finish this off. A lot of times they're very cunning. And they'll approach you, like they'll manipulate you, use you, mistreat you, and they'll look at you like you're dumb. You're just stupid motherfucker for believing me. Like that's the type of mentality they have. Like, nah, I'm wrong because I victimized you and I shouldn't have hurt you, played you, mistreated you, tricked you. You're wrong for being the dumbass for trusting me. You're the dumbass for believing that any human being in general, because they can have this mentality about humanity as a whole, for believing any human being would do good to you or be good to you. Very, very emotionally invalidating, very, very cold, very just fucking twisted and dark. Darkness isn't always evil, but dark in that sense. They can pretend to be nice, and that kind of connects to the last thing I said. And a red flag for me personally, when it comes to Aquarians, is whenever you find an Aquarius that keeps talking about being nice, or you should be nice and be nice and nice. Bobby Brown talking about being nice while slapping Whitney Houston upside the fucking head. I don't know who this is not. I don't know how y'all didn't see past Ellen. Like the people who truly thought she was good. Like I don't, because I feel like true kindness radiates in a different way. And like even the shit, like the way she like scares people on her show, it was giving Psychopath, because it's like these are not like harmless little cutesy things. Sometimes they were, but a lot of times she would find what a person's actually afraid of and present that. You're twisted. You're fucking twisted. And a lot of Aquarians, even who aren't this type, can be the type to like, they like pissing people off. They like scaring people, shit like that. But I don't know. That's a red flag for me personally. When I find an Aquarian doing that type of shit, or that's constantly talking about being nice, because they're saying be nice to pacify you. It's not, they're not saying be nice just because human beings should be good to each other. No, they're specifically telling you to be nice because they want to come at you sideways and they don't want you to do nothing. They want you to be a doormat, because Aquarius is a bully when it's on a more fucked up end. Very disloyal. I mean, Psychopath. I don't know how you can think they're loyal, but their Aquarius can be just, even non-psychopathic Aquarius, like I said, it's not the best energy for a relationship. So a lot of times when Aquarians in general are in a relationship, somebody's cheating. If it's not the Aquarius, it's the Aquarius partner. Like, rarely do Aquarians have healthy monogamous relationships. I mentioned this before. They can like the fact that they were bullied in the past, and that's not a sure shit sign that they're a psychopath type. but they can just look at their past as just like almost like training for the real world. And they can feel like the coldest person is the winner. The guy who was in American Psycho, I think his name was, is his real name Christian Bell, or his, I can't remember if his real name is Christian Bell or if his name in the movie is Christian Bell, just because when I think of that actor, I think specifically of that movie, because I don't really watch his movies a lot, just because like when he was hopping and popping, I was a kid and he was making grown ass movies. But there's a movie he was in called Equilibrium, and it's about a dystopian future where nobody has emotions. And a lot of times Aquarians can have this desire, and there's this desire for no one to have emotions. If they're in a relationship, they will, like my ex was like that, where he was only loving if I was cold to him. Very fucking weird. Like, there's this I want to say he's a professor. His name is Sam Vernick. I should have probably gathered all these names before I fucking made this video. But whatever. There's just this professor that's that specializes in psychopathy and narcissism and all this good stuff. And he makes videos on YouTube. And he has something called dead mother syndrome. So look that up, dead mother syndrome on YouTube, and you should find him. And he discussed how some people who have narcissistic mothers and like cold, invalidating mothers, they grow to see that as love. And if they're in a relationship, they give you all types of shit until you show coldness towards them, until you're indifferent, until you don't have emotional responses. And then they'll color up to you like they're like a fucking puppy. My ex did that shit a lot. And it was just like weird as fuck. I'm like, because I treat you how I feel about you. So I'm treating you like shit because you ain't shit to me. Like, I'm sick of your motherfucking ass because you a bitch. You got issues. You coming at me sideways. Now you cuddling up to me. Like, Libras don't like that shit. We can be funny acting with affection in general, but we get very unaffectionate when we're mad at you or some shit. So like, you cuddling up to me and I'm like, nigga, if you don't get the fuck off of me, like, and then I'm just like confused because I'm like, I'm the asshole right now. Why the fuck are you cuddling up to? Don't make sense to me. I did have a different Aquarius say that like they do this for another reason too. Like, they want out in a relationship, but once you want out in a relationship, they want to be with you because you can't be the one to break up. And I can see that with some Aquarians too, and I think that's so fucking childish. But like, it is what it is. With their bullying and with their abuse, you have to be careful because I said this like 50 million times, but a lot of times they'll deliver harsh truths. So if you're a person who has like abuse and bullying in your past, there's a certain part of you that's like used to or comfortable with that energy. So hearing them deliver harsh truths, you might tolerate them a little bit more just because they told you the truth. And if you're a person who just loves truth, I love truth. So they can kind of like reel you back into their clutches, even though they ain't shit. Last thing for the psychopath is that they're abusive parents, which, like, duh, I already mentioned that about a lot of Aquarians, so of course this type is abusive parents. I also have a bonus manifestation just because I made you guys wait so fucking long for this video, and because I mean there's another manifestation that I want to talk about. And that is the alien manifestation of Aquarius. Now this is like the weird, quirky, misunderstood side of Aquarius. They can come off as similar like to the psychopath. They can come off really cold and really distant and like really unfeeling. But it's not because they actually are. In most cases, they can be. It's because they're just different, and it's like they don't understand humanity. They're aliens. So the way they show love and compassion and all that good stuff is very different, so that they don't get it. And when this type of Aquarius, if they decide to open up to you, you'll start to understand that they're not cold, they're not invalidating. It's just that the way they express emotions and the way they process emotions is just like completely different. And if you pay attention to one of the ruling planets, Uranus is kind of like tilted to the side. So I like to say that this type of Aquarian, they're looking at the world like this, where everybody's like straightforward. They're kind of cocked to the side. So what this does is that it allows them to have like insights and genius and all that good stuff, just because they're looking at the world from a different angle. But it also changes how they process things and how they understand things. And this is, like I said, really good, it's really bad, and really good. It's really bad because they're misunderstood and they really do want to connect. They really do want to be a part of the human population. But they can't express themselves the way other people want them to express themselves. And also, it's good because, like I said, insights. They're seeing things from a totally different perspective. Them and the trendsetter, inventive type of Aquarius, they can just come up with things that nobody's ever thought of. And it can just really just change humanity. But with this type, as opposed to the trendsetter, is that the alien is so before their time that when they say something, when they create something, it's not accepted or is overlooked because just the rest of humanity is not ready. Whereas the inventor and the trendsetter inventor type, their sense of timing is really good. Saturn rules time, and a lot of times they're so magnetic that they can kind of just like pull people into the fold and get them to see what they're displaying. Versus the alien type, as magnetic as the other Aquarians are, they're not. They don't have that, or they don't know really how to use that to pull people in. I would say Tinashe is this type because she's not appreciated and she's fucking incredible. And a lot of times, this type of Aquarian, they're just not appreciated. Now, with all that being said, now this is the type that is caring and isn't caring. They can have a superiority complex. And a lot of times they have a superiority complex because it's like I said, they're looking at the world from a different angle, so they see a bunch of things that other people don't see. And it can be kind of like an alien. Just think about alien tropes in our culture and in our entertainment. A lot of times aliens come from parts of the universe that are far more advanced. And I do believe that a lot of times Aquarians are from different aspects of the universe, from different parts of the universe. And there's a lot of Aquarians who will say that, oh, I came from a different part of the universe. And of course some of them are just talking, but I don't know, I kind of believe it because I feel like, why not? Like, first of all, I don't think we're the only sentient intelligent beings in the universe, because this universe is fucking infinite. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Second of all, I mean, if we can, if we can go from different races, different species, different anything, different genders when we reincarnate, why not a different alien species? Why not different planets? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about that. Along with that superiority complex, they can feel like others should just follow them, just because they're like they only see their greatness. They're looking at the rest of humanity like, wow, you're dumb and you're just not up to par to where I come from. You know what I mean? So I clearly should be the leader, which they can be good leaders. But when you're bringing that type of energy to a leadership position, it's not a good thing. Along with that, they can be dictators. Now, they can be dictators just because they're cruel, or they can be dictators also just because my way is the right way and all of you are dumb and inferior to me. So it can just be a superiority complex. And I don't think everyone with a superiority complex is necessarily cold-hearted. Completely. On a good note, they do stand out in the crowd. They can't have a bad temper just like the other Aquarian types. And despite their actions and kind of how they view humanity, they can still be sensitive and they can still kind of be kind-hearted. But the thing of it is with air signs, and I would say Gemini and Aquarius more than Libra, if people are stupid, they kind of like lose a little empathy from. Just think about when people say, like when someone does something really dumb and lose their lives, and people like, I don't know, in YouTube comments are like, well, that's fucking evolution for you. That's Darwinism for you. That's a very Aquarian thing to say. Like, oh, these people are dumb. They should have died. And you will find with this type of Aquarius and the Trendsetter type is that they can be very Thanos-like. You know how Thanos went to different planets and he would kill off half of the population to save the other half of the population, and he really thought he was doing something good, and he was a humanitarian? They can be like that. And I have heard many Aquarians say, oh, I would totally experiment on people and kill them and stuff if it means saving the greater part of humanity. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I've heard several Aquarians say that. Like, I would totally kill 5 people if it meant saving all of humanity. And I don't know. I feel like you should find a different way to save the rest of humanity. But, you know, whatever. So this is my Aquarius video. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of Aquarius. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you find them weird? Whatever. Let me know what you have in Aquarius. Do you have your sun in Aquarius? Do you have your moon in Aquarius? Are you Aquarius rising? As always, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you next time. Thank you.